Okay, so I don't have a mic, so we'll just see how this goes. Okay, so autism. Okay, so I've been diagnosed since around 2018, of May or either April of that year. So I've been diagnosed for around 6 to 7 years, give or take, roughly around that time. From what I remember from my diagnosis is that we only did a paper copy of the assessment as well as a therapy session for it. From what I have heard from other people's assessment, they have done like more questionnaires or asked to play out specific situations for it. But that wasn't something I had to do for mine. If I remember correctly, I mean I could have, but that but I don't really remember much from that time. And I guess for this, I will mostly be explaining in my own terms or in terms I understand or are comfortable with. Because I know some people aren't really comfortable with using like high functioning, low functioning, and stuff like that for a spectrum. I don't really matter for that one or care, so we're gonna do it this way. Personally, I don't think autism changed my life too much outside of school and more. I don't know how to phrase this, but I guess more comfortable living. Not really. Okay, so pretty much when I was diagnosed, nothing much changed immediately. It was mostly when I got into middle school and high school that things started to change. Like I was sorted into a very specific class for kids with special needs, IEP, stuff like that. I didn't really like the classes all that much. Like I was forced into an environment that pretty much isolated me or just forced me to do other things to try for it to be easier, which I really did not like. Like for a science test, they would often just remove one or two of the questions or put me in another room to do so. It always made me feel isolated, alienated, stuff like that. Like they took me away from my peers that I could have tried interacting with or tried socializing with more, but they put me in another room, which I again always hated. And it never seemed fair. Like, why would I, just because I have autism, be isolated or given an easier chance for other kids? Like, I know other children would have adored having an easier chance or more attempts to redo a test or have more help, but I never did. So maybe that's something. I guess another thing would be texture and stuff like that. And I guess tastes. Like, I know a safe food, or at least a common one between other neurodivergent people, is like fries. But I, for one, think they taste bland and stuff like that. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I have tried it with condiments a few times, but never got it. Maybe because most of the time it was McDonald's or something like that. But nah, it never really got on to me. So pretty much for me personally, though, I kind of mix between soft and savory foods at times. The favorite would probably be like pickles or something like that. Though pretty much any fruits, I guess, is something I will generally like. Except for maybe dragon fruit, I don't really like the taste of that one, and kiwi is kind of an iffy. Haven't tried avocado yet though. A texture I really despise though is leather. Especially leather baseball mitts. I cannot stand those. The way I always describe it is that it's like my entire skin is itching or I have hives whenever I touch leather textures. This also applies usually to jeans. I know sometimes they can have a softer fabric, but I really can't stand those. One instance of bad jeans and they do not go well. I guess we can go on to special interests and hyperfixations now. To summarize it, hyperfixations are like shorter periods of time and when you are very interested in something. Special interests are like more permanent, keyword quotation marks, and permanent. In a way, that's the best way I can explain it. Usually, my hyperfixations usually rely on like natural disasters, radiation, airplanes, crashes, and sometimes specific TV shows like Phineas and Ferb, mostly Phineas and Ferb, and I guess Kirby, Pokemon, and Niche would also fall into these categories. A more special interest would probably be FNAF, drawing, stuff like that, because they lasted more of a while. Though I guess technically Pokemon would also fit into both criteria. I guess another thing to touch on is emotions. Like, it's a common misconception that autistic people don't really experience emotions the same way, which I kind of do agree with my own experience. It's not like we don't experience them, it just, yeah, it's like we experience them differently. Or we just can't process them the same way, because not everyone express emotions the same way or something. Pretty much like when it's like my mind doesn't comprehend it the same way, or I just don't understand it right away, or maybe I just don't feel anything towards the topic. Like I have just stood or stand there, not thinking anything about it. No thoughts, just want the conversation to move on or just continue. Nothing more, nothing less. Maybe it's a bit bland, like my mind is racing too much on a different topic and just want the conversation to move along, or I just generally just don't feel anything, or I just don't know about it.